Hey guys, I am Michał from mdbootstrap.com, and in today's video we'll take a closer look at the modals in the newest Bootstrap 5. Without further ado, let's jump into the code. In this tutorial, I will use Material Design for Bootstrap, which is a free library that greatly extends the capabilities of regular Bootstrap and provides many useful features, like for example, better look, additional components, free templates, and even a free hosting for your projects. To download Material Design for Bootstrap, just go to mdbootstrap.com and click big blue Get Started button. Then click big red Download button. Next, unzip the package. And then open it with your favorite code editor. I am using Visual Studio Code. Next, double-click on index.html file and drag it to the browser. Or if you are using Visual Studio Code as me, you can install a very useful extension called Live Server. And thanks to this, you can enable live reload. So anytime you change anything in your code, the browser will refresh automatically. I already have Live Server installed, so all I need to do right now is to right-click on index.html file and click Open with Live Server. Now let's delete the existing content to prepare the index.html file to work with the new project. Select and remove everything between Start Your Projects Here comments. Save the file, and now we are ready to start our work. Let's go to the documentation of mdbootstrap.com. Note that all mdbootstrap components will perform the same as regular Bootstrap, but will have more features, better design, and overall everything will be better here. In the search box, type Modal. Click it and you will be redirected to the Modal documentation. You probably know what Modal is, but anyway, let me explain it in a few simple words. So Modal is a responsive pop-up used to display extra content. That includes, for example, props, configurations, cookie consents, etc. Let's copy this basic example. Click Show Code and click Copy. Then let's go back to our project and paste the code. After saving the file, you will notice a button here. And after clicking the button, the modal will pop up. As you notice, modal requires a trigger. Trigger is something that allows the user to launch the modal. In this case, this is a button. The trigger refers to the modal via data attribute or JavaScript. In this case, we are using data attribute, but later we'll also learn how to use JavaScript for this purpose. We are using two data attributes in our trigger. The first one is a data MDB toggle, and that means that we want to refer generally to the modal component. The second is a data MDB target, and this refers to the element with a specific ID. In this case, this is example modal. And as you can see here, this is an ID of our modal. Construction of the modal is quite simple and similar to the cards. So inside of the modal we have a header, body and footer, and it's exactly the same as in cards. Modal content is like a card class and holds the entire content in order. Modal dialog is an outer wrapper necessary for proper positioning of the modal. And the modal class is the most outer wrapper that holds everything else and creates a backdrop. And backdrop is this darker layer. If we click it, the modal disappears. There are four ways to close the modal. The X button in the top right corner, the close button in the modal footer, and as I showed a few seconds ago, we can also close the modal by clicking the backdrop. And the last way to close the modal is to use a keyboard and to click Escape key, as I did in this moment. Now let's have a look at the options that this component offers us. If we want to prevent the modal from closing by clicking the backdrop, as you can see here, I cannot close the modal by clicking the backdrop, but I can still close it by clicking the button. So if we want to achieve this effect, we can add a special attribute. Let's try this out. So here you can see an attribute data mdb backdrop static, And if we also want to prevent the user from closing the modal by using a keyboard, we also need to add data mdb keyboard false. So let's add both of these. And we need to add these attributes to our modal, not to the trigger. After saving the file, I cannot close the modal by clicking the backdrop, and it doesn't work if I push the escape key on my keyboard. The next thing worth of mentioning is the behavior of the modal when we have a very long content. So as you can see here, when we have this kind of content, very long content, and when we scroll, the page behind the modal doesn't scroll. We only scroll the modal, and this is the desired result. And if we want, we can add a special attribute, and thanks to this, we can have a scroll bar in our modal. So this is like an additional feature for the user that he can manipulate when scrolling along content inside of the modal. So to add a scroll bar to the modal, we need to add a modal dialog scrollable to the modal dialog class. We can try this out. And here is a modal dialog, and actually it's another class, not an attribute. So modal dialog scrollable, we need to add to the same class where we have modal dialog. And we need to add some text inside of the modal so we can have a scroll. And here it is. Another thing, as you notice, our modal is not perfectly centered in the middle of the page. It's rather a little bit moved to the top. And if we want to, we can add a modal dialog centered to the modal dialog class. And thanks to this, we can have our modal perfectly centered on the X and Y axis. Let's try this out. I will replace this modal dialog scrollable with modal dialog center. And voila. Now it's perfectly vertically and horizontally centered. If we want, we can freely use the grid inside of the modal. There is nothing special here, but let me present it to you. So inside of the modal body, I will create a row, and I want to have 2 columns inside. And I will add some text here and some text here. And now I have 2 columns. There is nothing special about this, but if you're not familiar with Bootstrap Grid, have a look at our tutorial that you can find the link in the description of this video. Now let's try to use a JavaScript instead of data attributes. In the modal documentation, scroll up, and here you will find API tab. Click it, and here you can find a section that tells us about JavaScript usage with modals. Click a show code and click copy, and scroll down our file to the script section, and here inside of the custom script, let's add this code. As you can see, we are using a different ID here in the JavaScript than in our modal. So here we are using ID example modal. So let's copy this and let's use it here. Now let's try to change the backdrop to the static with the usage of the JavaScript. Here in the options, you can see we need to use a backdrop option and change the value to the static, and it has to be a string. So let's open the brackets, the curly brackets, exactly, and let's type backdrop and set it to static. And let's see if it works. And yes, it does. I cannot close the modal by clicking the backdrop. And now let's try to turn off the backdrop with a usage of a value false. And now after clicking the modal, there is no backdrop. There are also a few advanced options available for the modals. Let's have a look at them. Let's go back to the Overview tab. And here in the Advanced Examples, we can see a few options. So we can change, if we want, the position, shape and the size of the modal. Have a look at the frame modal. So it's very typical for the cookie consent, pop-up cookie consent modal. We can change the position to the top right corner or top left corner or bottom right, bottom left, or we can easily change the size of the modal. It can be even full screen with the YouTube video embedded. As you can see here, these advanced options are available for MDB Pro package. MDB Pro is a premium version of MDB library that offers over 5,000 premium components, plugins, design blocks, templates and many integrations. If you want to purchase it and take advantage of all these awesome features, in the description of this video you will find a huge time-limited discount code. Use this code at the checkout to get a massive 50% discount and enjoy MDB Pro for a much cheaper price. There are last two things I want to show you about the modals. So let's get back to the modal documentation, and here you can find a link to the modal builder. Let's have a look at this. So thanks to modal builder, you can easily generate the desired modal. So right now it's a regular modal, but if you want to change a size, we simply click the option here and it changes the demo and the code here that we can later copy and paste to our project. We can change the position of the modal and it always adjusts the code so we can use this specific example in our project. We can turn off the backdrop or make it static. We can turn off the animation. Or even center it vertically. So very useful tool. And the last thing I wanted to show you are modal design blocks. If you type in a search box modal, you will find here an item modal blocks. And here are the templates, the modal templates, predefined templates that you can use to accelerate your work. So these are predefined modals adjusted to, for example, e-commerce or modal forms, and you can simply just choose the modal you like, copy the code, and it will work out of the box. And this option is also available for MDB Pro package. By the way, did you know that thanks to MDB Bootstrap you can use free hosting for your projects? We call it MDB Go and it's really great. Visit mdbgo.com for more information. In the description of this video you will also find a link on how to use MDB Go hosting and how to install MDB CLI, which is a fantastic and free supporting tool that provides many useful features and functionalities. Now let me just show you how easy it is to publish our newly created project on the internet thanks to MDB Go. I already have MDB CLI installed on my computer, so all I need to do right now is to run my terminal and enter the directory where we have our project. So here is the folder with the MDB package we downloaded and where we have been working on our project. So let's copy its path and let's enter it in the terminal. Then all I need to do is to type a single command, mdb publish, and I will choose npm package manager, and then I need to choose a name for my project. I will name it Modal tutorial. Then accept all other options, and after a few seconds my project is available in the internet at this link. Let's see if it works as expected. And yes, it does. Super fast and extremely useful. If you like this video, give a thumbs up to our tutorial. That's it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and see you in the next tutorial.